Hello friends, hello brothers. This is Justin with Masonic Improvement. I hope everybody is just doing fantastic. If you'll recall, a few months ago, it's maybe been about 3 months now, I made a short video. I went through some of my grandfather's old things. You know, he recently passed away, excuse me, he recently passed away in January, and I inherited, I guess, all of his Masonic stuff. I don't know where else it would have went. And so I was just looking through it, and I saw some things that I thought might interest some brothers. And so I made a short video. It turned out to be really popular. A lot of people really enjoyed the stuff I had to show. But I also pointed out, I didn't go through everything. There was still some things left. I have since gone through the rest of his things. There's a lot of interesting stuff in there. Not all of it's Masonic. Um, I don't know if I'll really get to the non-Masonic stuff, but some of my grandmother's things were in there as well, mixed among it, and she was a member of the Eastern Star. So I'm just going to go through the things that I found. They may or may not be interesting to everybody, but there were some people that did ask me just to, if I ever got around to going through the rest of the things, just to share that. So that's what I'm going to do. Before I get started, if you have not already, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Yeah, everything you do to like and share helps bring awareness to the channel itself, helps me to grow my subscription base, which helps me get the Masonic improvement message out to more people. So I appreciate everything you do to help support the channel. If it's just a like or a subscription, or if you know some brothers might actually enjoy some of this stuff, be sure to send it to them. I would really appreciate that. So I don't really have any particular order. There is one thing I'm saving for last, but we'll just go through everything else pretty basic. So the first thing is this little booklet, and we actually I got left quite a few little booklets, and I won't show you because it is a cipher booklet. But what's interesting about this, I guess I can show you the front. What's interesting about this, I don't know if it says that, yeah, is this is a council cipher. So in Texas today, in chapter and council, the work is no longer in cipher; it's in plain text. But back in the day, this was dated 1958. So back in 1958, it was not plain text. You had to actually know the work, which is very sharp contrast to what you see in chapters and councils across Texas today. And I think I've shared my thoughts on that before, so I won't go into too much detail. If not, I'll be sure to do so in the future. It's right there. So this is a chapter cipher book. I keep holding it upside down. So this is a chapter cipher book, and the same theme as this one, meaning everything is actually in cipher. I'm trying to look for a date. This was dated 1956. So this is a 1956 Texas chapter cipher book. Now this next thing, I legitimately don't know what it belongs to. I have never seen anything like this, and the green screen might not like it too much. Whatever the senator is, 1948. I know that he was a member of some other organizations. I can't remember what all they were. This is dated 1948. As many of you know, organizations were pretty common to join at the time. So I'd be very interested if anyone recognizes what this is. I want to think maybe he was a member of the Knights of Pythias also for a short time, or maybe I'm thinking the Knights of Columbus. I get these other organizations a little bit mixed up. I think Knights of Columbus. Yeah, I don't think he could be a Mason and a Knight of Columbus, but I might be wrong. So this might have been a Knight, like a Knight of Pythias cipher book or something. Doesn't say anything on the back, but if anyone is familiar with that, with the verbiage on this or anything like that, I would be very interested in knowing what this belongs to. All right, we got a few trinkets here. This was my grandmother's. I'll hold it up to the camera. I don't know if it's going to focus on it very well. It is not going to focus on it very well. But, it's the OES Stars surrounded by, some kind of gems. I don't know if it's just some flair like you'd buy it, like the Grand Communication. or if it's like a 50-year pin of some sort. Again, I'm asking the experts here that actually are familiar. I'm not a member of OES. So if anyone is an OES, and particularly in Texas, and if you have seen something like this before, if it has any significance, because I mean, it just comes in a little plastic container. So there's nothing really that goes with it. If it has significance, please let me know. I also found this, nothing particularly interesting about it other than the fact it is a solid metal. This would be brass maybe, or some kind of bronze. I never seen anything like this. I'm not familiar with it. It might have just been something he bought somewhere, but there's that. All right, I got a few other trinkets. Like I said, some of this stuff might not be too interesting, but I do have something really cool at the end. These are cufflinks, square and compass cufflinks, and a tie band. But you know, everybody has seen these that has been in the fraternity for any period of time. Okay, so this box was in my pile of things to talk about, and I didn't realize I put it in there. I had originally intended to talk about it, but then I was like, well, it's not Masonic, but it's here, so I'll go ahead and just go through it with you. So my granddad was in World War II. So this was an award that was given to him. It looks to be just, well, I'll say just, but it looks to be a good conduct medal. I'm not too familiar with this kind of thing, so I'd love to hear back from somebody if they can just verify that's what that is. I also have his dog tags that he wore back in World War II. Is it? So that's pretty cool. And then a few patches, and he was in the Army. I'm not familiar with most of these things. So I don't know if this is a squadron or if he worked for the Umbrella Corporation or what that was, but we have this. We also have one of these patches. Let's see, what else? I know he was a private first class, but when I was in the Air Force, these were, oh man, I'm trying to remember. I think like second lieutenant. I know if they're silver, they're a captain in the Air Force, but I don't know what that is now. Just, okay. Yeah, I got a few other pins. I don't know. It might be interesting to some of y'all. This book, and this was my grandmother's. This was the OES ritual from 1967. For those of you that are ritual buffs. So what's interesting is that I guess I should stop reading this because it's not in Cipher. It's all just plain text. It is interesting, and I don't know enough about it to know if it's changed much since 67 or you know, really, you know, the history of OES. But my grandmother was a member and a past worthy matron of the OES that was in the lodge I was raised in. It demised before I got raised, but she was worthy matron there. So what I really wanted to show everybody, and this is kind of hard to talk about, but I've talked about it a few times with other people, so I think I'll be able to, you know, muster it. But my granddad was a Freemason for my entire life, and he passed away February of 2020, pretty recently. But my point is, I remember sitting on his lap as a little boy, and he had his Masonic ring on it, and I didn't know what it was at the time, but you know, he was a huge guy and had big old hands, so he had this big old Masonic ring, or at least it seemed huge at the time. And you know, growing up my entire life, he always had this ring on. He was always wearing it, and it was the same ring, but he always wore it everywhere he went, and everything he did. And so when he passed away, I had just assumed that he was buried in his Masonic ring because he, you know, he always wore it. But when my birthday rolled around this year in June, I was given a few of his things, and this was one of them. And I hope it shows up pretty well because it's actually, well, it's not going to though, is it? It's pretty interesting. So this is my granddad's Masonic ring that He wore my entire life. You know, I don't have any idea how old it actually is, but you can't make it out on the camera, unfortunately. Maybe I'll post it on Facebook later. But he wore it so long and so often that a lot of the details are wore down on it. You can tell this was a ring that someone was proud of and wore for a long time. And this wasn't, by today's standards anyway, it wouldn't be an expensive ring. And I suspect by you know 40s or 50s, whenever this was bought, you know, it probably wasn't an expensive ring either. But my granddad was never a wealthy man, so to him this meant a lot. Unfortunately for me, it doesn't fit. It'll, my concern is if well, it's staying on right now, but my concern is if I wore it, it would fall off like it just fell off just now, and I don't want to lose it. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might get it resized one day, or maybe I'll gain weight or something, who knows. But it does have, just for those of you that are interested, and again, I apologize if you can't make out the details, I'll post it on Facebook, but it has a trowel on one side, it's got a plumb on the other side, and of course you have the square and compass on the front, and instead of having the G in the center, the square and compass is actually in the center of the G, which for those of you that aren't Masons, it really has no significance being oriented that way. The G and the square and compass are actually three different symbols. So yeah, I know here in the United States it's common you see the G inside the square and compass, and really what you're seeing is just several important symbols combined together, which is the same thing here. It's just not in the same orientation you see most other places. So that's all I really have. There's a few other interesting things, but they're not directly Masonic. So I don't want to make this a really long video, but I know some of you guys were interested, and some of you ladies also were interested in some of the things that I had to share. So I wanted to make a video while I had everything out, because I'm going to put it back in storage, and that opportunity to share it with everybody is going to pass for the time being. So thank you again, as always, for watching. And just a reminder, if you enjoyed this video, please like it. Please subscribe to my channel. Please share it with other people that you believe may enjoy it. All right, everybody. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.